Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to our platform shooter series. This will be part 8. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add auto tiling in GameMaker Studio 2. And if you stick around at the very end, I'm going to show you my process for creating tile sheets like this that you can use for GameMaker Studio 2's auto tiling. Let's get started. So first come into our sprites, and we're going to need to create a new sprite. So I'm going to create a new sprite here, and I'm going to name this S_autotile. I'm going to import this image and import this autotile image. I'll provide a link to this image in the description. And we'll do yes, we do want to import it. And that should be good. Then we need to come into tile sets, and we're going to create one. And we'll name this T_autotile. And we'll select our autotile image right here. Now you need to make sure that you have this blank, this space blank here. Let's go into auto tiling. Once you have your tile set up, make sure it's set to the correct coordinates here. You can see this is obviously 16 by 16. And then we can come in here, control scroll to zoom in a little bit, get a little more space here. And we're going to create our auto tile. Now there's two kinds here. There's the 47 or the 16. We're going to use the 16 tile set. This version is a little bit interesting for what we're trying to do as far as the way when we're positioning the solids in the room to work with this. And so that's important to keep in mind. It's also important to keep in mind that it would be a little bit different you probably wouldn't be able to use this one for my video on tile-based collisions, because you can see it would detect this whole thing as a collision when you'd really only want the corner here. So, but it's fine for what we're doing here. So the first one we need to select is not actually this one, it's this one right here, because you can see we've got the corner for the next one. So select here, and here, and here, and you should just be able to go all the way across here. And obviously this one right here is going to be down here on my tile set because I added this extra space here. So click there, and there, and there, and there, and there, all the way across. Now the very last one should just be blank. I'm pretty sure we can just use this without any problems. So click there, and we're good to go. We've created our auto tile. You can rename this right here. So we could say auto tile purple. If you wanted to have multiple auto tiles, you could use one single tile set and one single sprite and just have multiple different ground types inside of here. And then you could create multiple auto tile templates from the same tile set. That's important to know because in the trial version you can only have 2 tile sets, but you can kind of work around it a little bit by putting multiple groups of tiles in one tile set and in one sprite. Once we've done that, we can actually come into our room, and it's really cool how this works, and it's so fast. And we can add a new layer here. We've got our background layer. I'm actually going to change the color of this background layer right here. So let's change the color here. I'm going to come into background layer properties and click on this black color. And the color I want to use, it's a hex value 232933, and it should give you kind of like a purplish light purple color. Okay, let's actually change our solid sprite before we do anything else. Let's edit this image. I'm going to make it white. Well, let's actually make it red, but we're going to give it a transparent value. So double click on the color and come into alpha and make it like, I don't know, maybe 45, an alpha value of 45. Okay, I'm going to press F to get the fill tool, and that didn't quite work. You want to select the whole image, delete it, and then do it, so you've got kind of the checkerboard background. So our solid should now be this red color, which is good. And then we can close that. Come back into our room. You can see it just adds that red on top of it. We're actually going to delete all of these solids anyways, because we're going to be moving them. If you hold Control, you can select them all and press delete. We're going to be moving them to their own layer. But first, let's add our tiles layer. So this will be on top of our background layer, but before our instances layer. I'm just going to rename this ground tiles. And in our ground tile properties here, we're going to select our Autotile tile set. And we'll come into libraries and click on Autotile purple. And you can see we can immediately start tiling this into our room. And it will automatically tile and fit the game just perfectly. I'm going to create some little platforms down here, maybe a little platform coming out like this. Kind of set it up however you like. And we've got our lovely auto tile in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a layer on top of this, which will be another instance layer. We're going to rename this layer, and we'll name this solids. And this layer, we'll click on our resources, and we'll grab our solid object right here, drag it into the room. And you can see it doesn't work with the tiles that we have. And that's because we're using the 16 tile, so now our solids need to be on a different grid. So we're going to try and grid this at 8 by 8. And I think that will allow us to create the solids how we want them to be. So then we can drag it right here, zoom in a little bit, and we can scale this one to fit that area. And if you hold Alt, you can just click to add new ones. And we'll just go all the way over for this. There we go. Alt, create one here. And here. And one that comes all the way across here. And just make sure that our solid objects line up with the tiles that we've added to the room. This one we'll probably want clear up at the top here. And you can see the benefit of using like a tile-based collision system, because then you wouldn't have to do this. But honestly, that's pretty fast for level creation. It only took me a few minutes to get that done. Now we can hide the solids layer and run our game. And we should be able to move around in this room on our lovely tile set. And the game is starting to look quite a bit better now. I don't think I got my color right. And my background color, I think that's the wrong color. I've got 33, it should be 23. 23, 29, 33. Okay, that's better. I mean, both of them look pretty good, but I honestly like this kind of more gray color. It's a little bit blue, has some gray. And we've got a really cool, I can't jump that high, have to come over here and get on this one. Probably can't make it up there yet. So we want to fix that. But we've got a really nice looking system here. Let's put our ground, whoops, let's make our solids visible again. I'm going to add a little step up just right here and click on the solids layer. And it looks like we'd have to make another tile here. But that shouldn't be too hard. And now we've fixed that. We can hide our solids layer again and run the game. Now I'm going to show you how to hide the solid layer in code, just because it's useful to know how to do that. Especially if you want to... Still can't make it up there. Oh well. Let's fix that real quick, I guess. Come into the solids, make the layer visible again, and we'll just drag this up a few more. Come into our ground tiles and draw it in, and there we go. We should be able to make that now. I'm going to add one right here too, just because I know that we might want to make it to that area. Okay. Now let me show you how to encode hide the layers. So I'm going to just do this in the player object for now. We'll do it in the create event. Let's hide some of this stuff so our screen's not all taken up. So let's hide the solids layer. And we'll do this by writing just a little teeny bit of code here. We'll just say var solid layer equals layer get ID solids. So that gets the layer ID and stores it in this variable. And then we can say layer set visible. We need to pass in our layer ID. Well, we got that. We stored it in that variable. And then whether or not it's visible, so we'll just say false. And this is useful because it makes sure that even if we want our solids to be visible in the room so we can see the collisions, if we run the game, our solids will no longer be visible. And we can also set this, if you want to get really fancy, you could say whether or not it's false or true is whether or not we're in debug mode. So you could say debug mode right here. And this way, if we run the game just normally, it's going to be false, which will hide the solids, hide all our collisions. If we run the game in debug mode, then it's going to be true. We'll allow access here. And it will show our collisions. You can see that it's drawing the solids over the tiles. So then we could run our game in debug mode just to make sure. You know, maybe you created a solid here, but you accidentally didn't drag up your collision all the way, and you're like, oh, you had this turned off and not visible, so you weren't sure anymore. And you run your game in debug mode, you'd immediately be able to see that your collisions are not in the correct place like that. So that's a cool little trick as well, just using debug mode. Okay, let's save this. And that's all we're going to be doing inside of GameMaker Studio 2. The next part of this video, I'm actually going to be showing you a program called Pixel Edit. I've showed it before. I think it costs, I don't know exactly how much it costs, you can look it up. But let me open it up right here. So this is Pixel Edit, and it's a very powerful software. And I'm going to close out of this right here, just so I can show you how to do something like this from the get-go. Okay, so creating a tile set inside of GameMaker Studio 2 that will work with the Autotile. If you come into File here and come into Import, you can import a tiled images, and this is what we want to do. We're going to import tiled images, and we'll import our Autotile here. Okay. Open, and it's going to give you parameters like how many tiles do you want. Well, we want to do 8 by 8 because this system is actually an 8 by 8 tile system. When we put it in GameMaker Studio 2, it's a 16 by 16 tile system, obviously, like this, with bigger tiles. But when we're modifying each individual tile, it's actually only 8 by 8 for each individual tile. You can see that works. So we're going to pull input, press input right there, and we get our tiles here on this side, and then we get the tile set here. Now, normally when you bring something in like this, I'm going to select delete right here and just delete these tiles. This program is probably one of the best programs out there for working with tile sets, in my opinion. Pixel edit, I really like Sprite for animation and pixel art and stuff, but as far as tiles go, pixel edit is gotta be the best one out there. So normally your tiles are going to look something like this probably. You'll come into your tile set and you'll have your structure like this. When you have a tile set like this, it generally looks... What happened to that one? Oh no, that's right. It's this one right here. Okay. So when you have your tile set, it generally looks something like this. And then you have your inside corners, right? So then you'll have your corners like this. And this is how your tile set is going to look when you get it from your artist, generally, is something like this. They'll have the outside 9 slice and then the inside corners like this. Now, how do you take this and get it to the situation that I had before? Because this is pretty common, right, to have a situation like this. Well, first of all, you're going to want a reference image. So let me open up a reference image here. And you can just use the image that I provide in the description as your reference image. And you can see in here it kind of blurs it and stuff, but this is good enough for a reference image. Let's zoom in more. This is how your tile layout needs to be. So once you have your tiles set up correctly like this, what you're going to do is you're going to import this image, and it should give you something like this with all your tiles laid out. And then you're going to come up here and just delete all of whatever you get from the image. And you're going to say document resize canvas. And inside of here, what you need to do is you need to take your tile size, which is 8 by 8. These tiles are 8 by 8. And then you need to make that, we're basically converting an 8 by 8 tile set like this into the 16 by 16 tile set that we open up in GameMaker, into this one. And the way we do that is we can double the height, is generally what I do. So I'm going to say tiles high, we're going to do, well, that's actually quadrupling the height. So we're going to do tiles high, we're going to do 4 tiles high. And that should give us enough space to be able to create this shape right here. So we'll say 4 tiles high. Tiles wide, we'll do 16. And that should give us the space we need. Now if these tiles, it doesn't matter what size these tiles are, this is going to be the size that you have. But let's say your tiles were a different size, like let's say they were, instead of 8 by 8, they were 32 by 32. It would work exactly the same. You'd still go 16 tiles wide and 4 tiles high. Then you'd press resize, you'd get something like this. Now you have to remember that this first square right here always has to be empty. And start imagining these, the 4 by 4 areas, as a single square, because that's how we're going to do this. Okay, so let's get our reference here. And the reference is going to disappear every time we do that. I'm actually going to hold this reference on another screen and drag it in every once in a while just to compare. So the first thing we need to do is create our very first tile, which is just all blank tiles like this. So I grabbed the blank tile, just made all blank tiles. You can see that matches up with our reference. Then in our reference we need a bottom, or a top edge like this with a corner and then a left side like this. So we're going to come in here, we're going to say, okay, here's this side right here. Then we need our corner, which is this one. And then we need our edge, which is this one. And you can see that matches up now right here. Then we need the other one, which is the right edge and the same bottom. So you can actually right click on a tile and that will copy it to your paint, to your brush. So we can put that here, grab our other corner and grab our other edge like this and create that version. Now the next version is just it's actually 2 of our top edge, this right here. So we can just add those 2 in like that. And then we have a bottom to a corner to a side. So we're going to grab the bottom right here to the corner right here to the side right here, like that. Then we have a space, right, with our edges here. And this is just two edges. So we can grab this one right here and go here and here. And that creates that. And then we have our corner, our bottom corner there, and our top corner here. So we'll grab this top corner, put it there, and grab our bottom corner and put it there. And you can see we're creating the same shape that's in this reference image. And no matter what your tiles look like, you'll be creating the same shape. Then we're going to do our bottom corner right there. We're going to do this one into our corner, our inside corner there, into the bottom. And we need our corner again here with our this corner here, like that. And actually that's not right. Something's wrong with that one. Has to come over more. Yeah, something's not right here. I'm trying to figure out what it is. So we've got our edge there. Oh, I know it's not right. It is right. It's just this image right here doesn't show the black lines, and so it makes it look like there's more space. But I was right. Second guessing myself there. It actually does go here. We were right. And then we've got just an edge here. Comes all the way down. You can see that edge right here. And then we've got a corner right here. I think. Let's see. Square, 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 square. Yeah. And then our next one is going to be right here, and it's only the bottom. Like that. And then finally we've got a little bit of a space here, and we've got a bottom corner here in this square, and then a bottom corner here in this square. And when you look at these, they should match up. And that's how I create this tile set. Then I just go File, Export Image, and choose a location, our desktop maybe, and we call this New Autotile. And save and close. One of the beautiful things about tiled that I want to show you real quick is when you change a tile inside of here, like if you change the color, it actually changes it inside of here and everywhere else on the sheet. So let's say we this blue color here, maybe we don't want that to be blue. We can switch to drawing here, right click on that to grab the color. And maybe we want that to be white for whatever reason. You can switch to your fill and paint this in. And you see that, look, when I fill this right here, it automatically fills in these tiles right here because they're actually the same tile. And then if I fill this one, it's also going to fill in this one right here because they're the same tile. And then if I fill this one, it will fill that one. So when you make a change to any one of these tiles, it'll change all of them. Or for example, if I just draw and put a little square right here in the middle of this, you can see it's automatically updating all of those. And I don't really like the way that would look, but that's something that you could do. And it's a very powerful program when doing tiled pixel art. Really, really cool. Anyways, that's all. I wanted to show you guys how I go about this. This same process right here works for any size tile set. All you need is that image that I showed you at the start, which is, you know, what you'll probably, I mean, it doesn't have to be like that, but most of the time that's what the tiles look like when you get them from your artist. They've just got the 9 slice area with all the corners and then the inside area around that. So that's all you need. Once you've got that, you can start, you can create a larger tiled image like this and just think 4x4 and start setting up the tile system. I'd like to see somebody automate this process because it wouldn't be too hard to automate, I don't think, and just make it so you could feed it like you give it a specific template, like you give it this image right here, and it automatically takes this image that I'm building right now and converts it into this image. You know, you could automate that process where it takes this right here, you feed it into a program, and it automatically creates this image from that. Because it is a little bit of a process, and at first when I was trying to figure it out, it was confusing. But once I got it worked out, it you know, works really nice and looks good inside of the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this lecture. It's a little bit of a not very programming heavy lecture, but considering the last lecture was pretty like there was a lot of programming we did in the last lecture, it's kind of fun to see to make some visual changes to our game and just see that how it looks so much nicer than it did before. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, be sure and like the video, share it, and I will talk to you guys in the next lecture.